We live in an era where recognition is measured by likes and constant attention. Yet true power often resides in the quietest corners of existence. Noise has become the standard for success, but look closer at those who hold the strings of destiny without ever raising their voices to speak. Have you ever noticed that those who truly possess authority are often the ones who say the least? This is the paradox of our modern world. The art of invisibility is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate peak of self-control and the mastery of one's own internal ego. When you stop seeking validation from the outside, you begin to find a source of strength that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. Today we explore why the strongest people often remain unseen, hidden behind a veil of silence that speaks much louder than any boastful word ever could. True influence doesn't require a megaphone. It requires presence, discipline, and the wisdom to know when to step back and observe the shifting tides. Let us dive into the philosophy of the unseen and discover how silence can become your most powerful weapon in a world that never stops talking. Stoicism teaches us that the ego is the greatest enemy of greatness. When we feel the need to show off, we admit our own insecurity. The desire for applause is a trap. It binds your happiness to the hands of strangers, making you a slave to the praise you desperately seek. Every time you boast, your ego grows larger and heavier, eventually becoming a burden that slows your progress and blinds you to your own flaws. In contrast, the master understands that his worth is not defined by his performance, but by the quiet discipline he maintains when no one is watching. Focus on the action, not the result. The master sweeps because sweeping is his duty, not because he expects a reward for a clean floor. Real strength is silent. It doesn't need to bark to be felt. It is a presence that fills the room through action rather than empty noise. When you master your inner self, the need for external validation disappears. You become self-sufficient, a fortress that stands tall regardless of the world's opinion. To be invisible is to be free. Free from the pressure of expectations and free from the constant need to prove your value to others. Choose the path of the master. Invest your energy in your craft and your character, not in the image you project to the noisy world outside. True greatness is often hidden in plain sight. It is found in the consistency of effort and the rejection of the ego's constant, hollow demands. Remember that the most powerful entities in nature, like the mountain or the deep sea, never feel the need to explain their own importance. In the game of life, silence is the ultimate weapon. Those who speak too much often reveal their strategy before the battle is even begun. Stoic philosophy teaches us that silence allows us to listen. When we are quiet, we can hear the subtle movements of our opponent's intentions. A quiet mind is a sharp mind. By withholding your words, you preserve your mental energy for the critical decisions that actually matter for success. Every time you react to a provocation, you leak energy. Silence acts as a container, holding your power inside until it is ready for release. The one who talks the most is usually the one who is the most afraid. They use noise to mask their own lack of preparation. When you are invisible, you are unpredictable. No one can prepare for a strike they cannot see coming or a mind they cannot read. Silence is not the absence of thought, it is the concentration of it. It is the tactical decision to wait for the perfect moment to act. Time favors the patient. The Stoic waits for the chaos to settle, knowing that the truth eventually reveals itself to those who remain still. Let your actions be your statement. There is no need to announce your victory when the results are already visible to everyone in the room. Refining your speech is the first step toward refining your life. Speak only when it is more valuable than the silence it will break. The king does not shout to prove he is king. His position is established by his presence and the calculated weight of his occasional words. The highest form of emotional intelligence is the ability to observe without reacting. Like a still lake reflecting the sky, stay clear and calm. Life will throw stones at you. Events will occur that are designed to disturb your peace, but you have the choice to remain deep. To be untouchable is to be unreactive. When you do not let external events dictate your internal state, you become the master of your reality. Observe the chaos around you, but do not let it enter you. The world can be in flames, yet your inner sanctuary must remain cool. Most people are like dry leaves, blown about by every wind of opinion and every spark of conflict. They react before they can think. But the strong individual walks through the noise. He sees the anger, analyzes the cause, and decides that it is not worth his peace. Temperance is the bridge between impulse and action. It gives you the space to breathe and choose a response that aligns with your values. When you stop reacting, you gain the upper hand. You are no longer a puppet of your emotions or the provocations of other people. Taking the time to understand your opponent is more effective than rushing to defend yourself. Observation is the foundation of all effective strategy. The strongest people have the highest threshold for provocation. They are not easily moved because they are rooted in something much deeper than pride. Practice being the observer of your own life. Watch your thoughts pass like clouds, but remember that you are the vast, unchanging sky. There is a unique power in not needing to prove yourself. While others build monuments to their vanity, the wise man builds his character. He works in the shadows, not for the applause of the crowd, but for the satisfaction of reaching his own high standards of excellence. Every strike of the hammer is an act of discipline. Every cooling bath is a lesson in patience. The work itself is the reward. When you are truly capable, your results will speak for you. A sharp blade doesn't need to shout to prove it can cut through steel. The need to show off is often a mask for the fear of being inadequate. It is a desperate cry for validation from the outside. Potential power is far more intimidating than displayed power. It is the authority of the storm that is not yet broken over the horizon. Silence creates an aura of mystery and respect. When you don't reveal everything, people are forced to consider the depths you might possess. Let your work be done in silence, and let your success be the only noise. This is the hallmark of a truly disciplined mind. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. The mountain doesn't move to prove its strength. It simply exists, year after year, through every storm. Hold your power close to your chest. Use it only when necessary, and always with the precision of a master who knows his worth. Real authority is built in the moments when no one is looking. It is a slow, quiet construction of the soul that lasts forever. The world outside is constantly changing, like the shifting sands of a desert, but the world within can be made eternal and unshakable. The strongest individuals are those who have invested the most in their internal world. They have built a sanctuary that no one can touch. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the inner citadel. It is the fortress of the mind where you can retreat to find peace amidst any external chaos. No matter what happens in the physical world, your inner citadel remains yours to command. It is the source of your true independence. Self-respect is the key to this fortress. When you have your own approval, the approval of the crowd becomes irrelevant and secondary to your peace. They do not run after fame because they have found something more valuable: the absolute certainty of who they are and what they stand for. Stop looking for your reflection in the eyes of others. Instead, look into your own soul and see the strength that has always been there. When your inner world is organized, your outer life becomes clear. You move with a purpose that doesn't require explanation or justification to anyone. Fill your mind with noble thoughts and principles. A rich inner life is the greatest wealth one can ever hope to achieve in this lifetime. The mastery of the self is the only true mastery. Once you achieve this, you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a creator. Be the architect of your own character. Build something that can withstand the test of time and the pressures of a shallow, noisy world. Your internal world is your legacy. Protect it, nurture it, and let it be the foundation upon which you stand when the world shakes. Being invisible doesn't mean disappearing from the world. It means being present with such consciousness that you no longer need to perform. Today, you can choose a different path. You can choose to be the person who works in silence and lets their character speak for them. First, stop explaining yourself. Your actions should be the only evidence people need to understand your intentions and your personal values. Second, listen more than you speak. You learn nothing when you are talking, but you gain everything when you are truly paying attention. Third, work in silence. Let your goals be a secret between you and your discipline. The world doesn't need to see the process, only the results. When you follow these steps, you build a type of authority that is felt rather than heard. It is the weight of a true leader. Become the eye of the storm. Let the world revolve around your stillness rather than you being swept away by the world's constant, frantic energy. You have the power to change your life right now. It starts with the decision to stop seeking attention and start seeking mastery of yourself. Which of these habits will you choose to practice today? Silence is a choice, and it is one that will lead you to your greatest strength. Let your success be your only noise. The world is waiting for the results that only a silent, disciplined mind can produce. Start now. What will you choose to practice today? Leave a comment below and begin your journey toward the mastery of silence. The world is waiting.